Why did Russia, out of compulsion, sell Alaska to America? How much was the price? And were the British the villains of this story? Just imagine. If someone told you today that one of the richest countries in the world once sold its land so cheaply that the price was less than 2 cents per acre, would you believe it? And if you were also told that this very land is now home to the world's largest military base, holds unlimited reserves of oil and gold, and is counted among the most strategic locations in the world, the surprise would be even greater. This is not a fictional tale, but a truth of history that changed the destiny of both Russia and America forever. This is the story of 1867. When Russia sold a part of its own territory to America, the land we know today as Alaska. Today, we will dive deep into this topic. But before that, if you are new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so you get updates of all our latest videos first. So, without any delay, let's begin today's discussion. Today, Alaska is America's pride, but once it was the crown jewel of Russia. Its story began in 1825, when Russian Tsar Peter the Great sent a Danish navigator, Vitus Bering, toward the North Pacific. Bering's expedition opened Russia's eyes. They realized Alaska was full of natural resources, sea otter fur, abundant fisheries, and later, mineral wealth. This was the reason Russia decided to establish its presence there. By 1799, Emperor Paul I had formed the Russian-American Company and gave it authority over Alaska. This company ran the settlements, with Sitka becoming the largest hub after the Russians defeated the Tlingit tribe in 1804 and made it their colonial center. But as easily as Russia had occupied Alaska, ruling it turned out to be just as difficult. Alaska was thousands of kilometers away from St. Petersburg. Snow-covered mountains, icy winds, harsh climate, and constant scarcity of resources became a major headache for Russia. American traders had also entered the field, competing with Russia in hunting and trade. Russia had neither the army to maintain a stronghold there permanently, nor the massive capital needed to develop the territory. The problems didn't end there. The Crimean War, 1853 to 1856, became a turning point for Russia. In this war, Russia tried to capture Moldavia and Wallachia, but Britain and France joined forces with the Ottoman Empire against it. The result was a crushing defeat for Russia. Not only did it lose its strength, but it also broke its financial backbone by spending over £160 million on the war. This was the moment when Russia realized that managing far-off colonies was beyond its capacity. The defeat in the Crimean War forced Russia to reconsider its colonial preferences. It realized that Alaska had become a burden. Profits from Alaska were declining because sea otters had been excessively hunted and trade had collapsed. On top of that, British-controlled Canada was right next door. The Russians feared that if a war with Britain ever broke out in the future, the British army could directly invade Alaska, and they would lose it without even putting up a fight. This was the turning point when Russia thought it would be better to sell this land. And that's when its eyes turned toward America. At that time, the United States was emerging from the Civil War and was continuously expanding westward. For America, Alaska was like icing on the cake. New land, new resources, and a strategic advantage in the North Pacific. For Russia, the deal was beneficial because it needed immediate cash and also wanted to keep Alaska out of Britain's hands. In 1865, the American Civil War ended. Soon after, U.S. Secretary of State William Seward accepted Russia's proposal to sell Alaska. And then came the day that changed history. On 30 March 1867, an agreement was signed between Washington and Russia. America bought Alaska. The price was just $7.2 million. The United States acquired 1.5 million square kilometers, that is, 6 lakh square miles, of land. At that time, the price was less than 2 cents per acre. Think about it, even today, The cost of a small apartment is many times higher than that. But back then, an entire state slipped into America's pocket. The US not only gained this vast territory, but also secured access all the way to the northern edge of the Pacific Ocean. At that time, people mocked the deal, calling it Seward's Folly. American newspapers ridiculed it, asking what was the point of buying such icy and barren land. But later, when Alaska's treasure of oil, gold, and mineral wealth was discovered, everyone realized that this was one of America's greatest victories. If Russia had not made this deal, Alaska might still have been part of Russia today. And just imagine, if the Russian flag were flying over Alaska now, how different the balance between America and Russia would be. Perhaps during the Cold War, Russia would have had an even greater weapon to trouble the United States. But history took a turn, and Russia lost Alaska. Here, the role of the British cannot be ignored. Britain and Russia were rivals during that era. Russia constantly feared that if it did not sell Alaska, British-controlled Canada might seize it at any time. This very fear pushed Russia toward America. At that time, the US was not Britain's enemy, but was actually maintaining a working relationship with it. Russia thought that if Alaska went into America's hands instead of Britain's, the loss in the future would be less severe. The sale of Alaska was a unique example of international politics of that period. On one side was Russia, compelled to sell its land. On the other side was America, searching for new opportunities to expand. And in between stood Britain, whose growing power forced Russia into selling. Had the British not been so aggressive in those times, perhaps Russia would never have made such a big decision. Today, the situation is completely reversed. Russia and America are considered each other's greatest enemies. From the Cold War to the current Ukraine conflict, tensions between the two have never truly subsided. Whether it's the arms race, the competition in space, or economic sanctions, both nations have consistently challenged each other on every front. Yet, the truth of history remains that once they were so close that Russia trusted America enough to sell an entire territory to it. Alaska today is a symbol of America's strategic strength. It holds vast oil reserves, major military bases, and also provides access to the Arctic. What America gained from this deal helped it rise into a global superpower. Russia, on the other hand, received only a few $1 million, money that was quickly spent.
If our video has taught you something new, do not forget to like and share this video so that this information can reach others as well. Your likes and shares are a source of inspiration for us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.